Today we're making an easy, healthier and delicious apple cake. It's a very simple recipe with very simple ingredients. Start by preheating the oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 250 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oven preheats, we can put together the cake batter. We start with the wet ingredients. So to a bowl, I'm going to add almond milk, some olive oil. You can also use any other vegetable oil, such as avocado oil, but we find olive oil to be perfect in cakes, and it's also quite healthy. And the sugar. Here as well, you can use white or brown sugar. You can also use coconut sugar or palm sugar. For the aroma, we're using vanilla extract. You can also use the beans from a vanilla pod, but in this case, we're going for vanilla extract. And some grated lemon zest. This is a cake batter that doesn't have eggs or butter, so I think it's nice to flavor it with a little bit of zest from citrus. Just make sure your oranges or lemons are organic. I'm whisking the wet ingredients until they're combined. Then we can sift in the flour and the baking powder. I start with the flour. We're using all-purpose flour. You can also use half all-purpose and half whole wheat flour. And the baking powder. The reason why we're sifting the flour and the powder is to remove lumps. It's going to be easier to whisk the cake. I'm adding just a pinch of salt, and then you can whisk either with a manual whisk, a spatula, or with a hand mixer. What's important here, you don't want to whisk too much. Whisk for just a few seconds, the time it takes to have the flour absorb the liquids. It literally took like 15 seconds. As the next step, we're going to add the apples. Really, it doesn't matter what type of apple you use, just use what you have at home. We prefer a sweeter cake, so we use sweeter apples. But if you like a more tangy cake, you can also use Granny Smiths or green apples. Yeah, basically to add the apple, you can cut them in half. There's no need to peel the apples. Then cut them into 8 wedges. And you can add 2 medium apples into the batter, 11 ounces. Remove the seeds and chop the apples into pieces as you add them into the batter. I'm keeping an eye on the quantity here. We like our cakes with a ton of fruit inside. Now combine the apples with the batter. You can use a spatula or a spoon. Again, don't overmix the batter, work quickly. Then take your baking pan that you previously lined with parchment paper. You need to do this before you start baking the cake. Then pour the batter into the pan. This is an 8-inch or 20 centimeter pan. The smaller the pan, the taller the cake. As a final step, we're gonna add 1 more apple on top. This time I'm gonna peel it because I don't want the apple to shrink. Cut it in half. Then in half again, slice the apple into thin wedges. Now arrange the apple slices on top of the batter in a circular pattern. You can overlap the slices a little bit. We are adding a little bit of cinnamon sugar on top. So this helps caramelize the apples and also gives them a beautiful golden color. And of course, cinnamon flavor. If you want to skip the sugar on top, you can add a teaspoon of cinnamon in the cake batter. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for about an hour, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out mostly dry. Let the cake cool down for 10 minutes in the pan, then flip it over and let it cool down completely on a cooling rack. It's gonna take about an hour or even more. This is a very moist cake, so you need to allow it to cool down completely so that you can slice it properly. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Guys, cut yourself a slice. You can have it for a coffee break or with some vanilla ice cream, or as we do in Italy, for breakfast. Easy, right? Perfect.